We're with Jeph Loeb, the head of Marvel TV. So welcome.
Thank you.
I have a not really about the show plot question. I actually have a kind of behind the scenes question.
Sure.
I'm
I
aspiring.
spend a lot of my time
I
behind the
figured
scenes.
you might. So I'm an aspiring TV writer,
Okay.
and I always think about the writing, the writer's room. I wondered if you could talk to us a little about the writer's room for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Sure. It's an extraordinarily talented group of people. Our showrunners are Jeff Bell and Marissa Tancheron and Jed Whedon, who are the co-creators of the show. And the way that it works is that at the beginning of every season we sit down and talk about what we want to accomplish, not just in the first episode, but over the course of the entire season, so that every character has an arc and every character has a story and how each of them integrate into each other. And that's the best way for us to begin. And so if you're going to get a gift like Ghost Rider is going to come on the show, the idea is, okay, well, how does the Ghost Rider affect Fitzsimmons? How does the Ghost Rider affect Agent May? How does the Ghost Rider affect Agent Coulson? And it's that place that you begin. And then you add into that the other layers, which is those characters also have to have their own story. They just can't be reacting to the fact that there's a guy driving around in a Hellmobile. And eventually what happens is that it starts to work out. But the thing that's most important for us is that it's still about people, and then it's still about people that you can relate to. I'm beginning to ask a lot of questions today about, how is Agent Coulson dealing with the fact that there's a new director? And for us, the answer is, how many of us can relate to the idea that, they have a boss that sometimes they love and maybe not so much. And so that's the kind of thing that we get to play, which we hadn't up until this point got to play. Like, up until this point, he was either answering to Fury, who's sort of a legend, or he was in charge. So what's the next step that we could do with Coulson that was interesting? Well, let's put him in charge with somebody that maybe he doesn't get along with. And they have to either learn to work together or not. We'll see what happens.
Okay, cool. So when we're talking about writers, my favorite were the ones for Agent Carter. And I know ABC has said no more, but do you think it's still Marvel property? It could go to a different outlet.
Look, I never say never. The truth is that this series came about because we got a very generous gift from the movie studio in that Clark Gregg could come over and play in television as Agent Coulson. That character was not created by the comics. That character was created by the movies, and it was somebody that I really felt, and Joss Whedon and Jed Whedon and Marissa Tancheron really felt like there could be a series built around him, and that if we could put that family together, that it would actually work out really well. In the case of Agent Carter, but at the time, he was dead. And so we had to find a way to be able to tell that story. And we just couldn't just come out and just go, oh, well, here are the adventures of Agent Coulson, and none of that happened. So I don't, what we know about Peggy is that she lives a very long life and has a lot of very exciting adventures that are yet to be told, beginning with the creation of S.H.I.E.L.D. We know that there's a very loyal and a very vocal fan base out there, as there should be. Haley Atwell has been incredibly generous to us by continuing to do interviews where she says, even though she's on another show, that she would love to come back and do that. And so, when those things happen and the stars align, the fact that there's a MacGyver show that's on right now,
Right.
sort of says to me anything's possible.